There is so much going on this week. Oh my God, it's been so emotional. From Infinity War to Kanye West. Dig this here. This is my new podcast. This is my first episode. Just want to give you a little background about me and tell you why you need to come back. Okay. I am Angela T. Jones. I'm from Detroit. This is not my first time as a podcaster. I do radio as well. I have transitioned from Blog Talk to a streaming platform with a mobile app for the Fab Life radio show. And I decided that I wanted to get back into podcasting from a more personal perspective because I've honestly never really done that. To be honest, we started off with the Fab Life radio show, and that was all about music, entertainment, entrepreneurs. I've never podcasted from a really personal perspective. So a lot of times when you're listening to my content, you may not necessarily get me. You may hear interviews that I've done. I've interviewed over 300 people between different platforms for blog posts, magazines, radio shows. I've done terrestrial radio, internet radio, and I've been doing this since in combination since 2008. So 10 years I've been doing this in some capacity or another. I write blogs for different platforms, including my own, which you can always go back and read at superwomanproductions.com. In Real Life TV was a new launch that I did in 2017, getting ready to go back into that in 2018, probably going to revamp it a little bit, take advantage of some other opportunities or even merge it with some other opportunities that are coming my way. I am now in my 40s and feeling fabulous about it, and can't nobody tell me shit. I have reached that point where some women reach it, some women don't, where you have a plethora of no fucks to give about how people feel about you. You just, you know who you are, you're confident in yourself, you're comfortable with who you are, and you're not trying to do things to make other people happy. Your focus is making yourself happy and doing what's best for you and in your own best interest, as opposed to pleasing other people. Some women get there, some of us do not. I have gotten there. And when I tell you I'm dangerous, honey, I am dangerous. Okay. It's gotten real dangerous. But it's good. And hopefully I will be able to inspire other women to walk in your truth and be confident in yourself and have a higher level of standards and self-esteem when it comes to how you treat yourself in this world, because it impacts how young women see us. That's very vital. We are role models, whether we want to be or not, whether we consider ourselves to be or not. If you're somebody's mama, you're somebody's role model. Okay. If you're somebody's auntie, you're somebody's role model. Okay. So you need to be aware of yourself, because it impacts what young women think about womanhood, not just themselves, but womanhood, what it is to be a woman. And let me also say, I'm a feminist, but that doesn't mean I don't believe in chivalry. It doesn't mean that I don't believe in fairness and equality in other aspects outside of just feminism alone. I think feminism is just one part of who I am. And it only means that I believe that women have rights. We have the ability to make decisions. We should have seats at many, many tables that are currently male dominated. And we should be in the forefront of making decisions, because really we run the world. We really do. And so much of womanhood, what we bring to this planet, is really instrumental in things progressing or regressing. As a feminist, I believe we should be able to use our voices and not be silenced. Big shout out to Michelle Wolf this week. She did her thing. And whether you took offense to it or not, I personally don't care. I think she said a lot of things that needed to be said, because there are often too many times where white women forget how they have benefited from white privilege. And she spoke out on things that really matter, not just to white women. They matter to black women. They matter to black men. Flint still ain't got no clean water, y'all. I'm just saying. Those things are important. So I'm glad she spoke up. Another big shout out to Van Lathan. He said a lot of things that I was praying somebody would say to Kanye West this week. Because, whoo, child, that was starting to wear me out. I'm just saying, y'all, that was trying to... Ooh, I've been a fan of Kanye's music. Don't like the little homeless looking clothes and shoes. I understand, he wanted to have his own brand and he was mad at Louis Vuitton at one point or whatever. And that's all cute and everything. However, as a black man in America, I hate to see him develop this mindset that I'm not black, I'm Kanye. That's not cool for our young black men. Because Kanye is old enough to know better. He's from Chicago. Okay, I'm sure at some point in a history class, he read a history book that said that slavery was not a damn choice, y'all. Okay, let's be real. And if he hasn't read those books, he's seen enough movies. Kanye got enough money to go to the museums in this world that show depictions of what slavery really was. It was a system of oppression that was developed by white men. And it was a part of their economic base. Their wealth was largely determined by how many slaves they could afford to buy, even if they had no other assets. They were wealthy in class because they had slaves. So they didn't want us to be free because that meant they were losing their status and their wealth. How he don't know that? How he don't know that at his age? I don't want to say it's mental illness because I don't know. I ain't his doctor. And he went and got lipo. And my understanding is you ain't supposed to do that if you're mentally ill. But I will say this. He's definitely disconnected from real life, everyday experiences that other black men in America have. That's just a fact. And his counterparts, other wealthy black men, have reached out to him. He posted the text of him and John Legend's conversation on his own Twitter. So we can't say that people aren't reaching out to him to try to explain to him the detriment of his words. At some point, we just got to understand that maybe he don't really give a shit. Let's just be plain. He ain't black. He Kanye. I'm not going to talk about Infinity War, only because I know some people haven't seen it yet and I don't do spoilers. I write reviews for movies and I've always been very mindful not to ruin the experience for other moviegoers. However, I will say this. If your first time going to see a MCU, that is Marvel Cinematic Universe film, when Black Panther came out and you never saw any of the other movies, you might not quite understand what's going on, or you might be very emotional about what's going on in the movie. So I would advise you to have your own little private binge watching session of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, it's been 10 years and like 20 movies. Maybe wait a minute before you see Infinity War so you can understand it and maybe not have the emotional reaction that new fans seem to be having. Because it ain't over. It's just one part of a larger story that's being told by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they're going to keep doing, movies already. They got a timeline for up to 2025, y'all. So, yeah, I'm not going to spoil the film, though. I personally want to go see everything else again. I want to see Black Panther again. I want to see Infinity War again. I watch Marvel all the time. I'm a Marvel fan. You'll find that out in this podcast. We will be talking about movies and such, and what you think about films and everything, and what black people like, what women like, because we have to have representation that is not singular in this world. We have to do that because that's one of the reasons why racism is able to run rampant, because people walk around with a singular mindset that everybody's supposed to be like them. And we have been accepting of some things, but we could be more accepting of other things. And the world would be so much more beautiful as a result, in my own personal opinion. I don't know if I lived long enough to see that, but it would be nice. And hopefully with this podcast, I can even be a catalyst for some of that. So make sure you come back. Check your girl out. Official_super_woman on Instagram. Best Superwoman on Twitter. Angela T. Jones on Facebook. Go to my fan page because my personal page is about to be closed. Only people I know personally, because y'all get a little out of hand in my inbox sometimes. Okay. I said y'all gonna get some more of me personally right here on this podcast. You never know what the hell I might say. So make sure you come back. I'm going to still develop content for this podcast over time. No need to rush. I got time. And I'll make time, but I would like to interact with you all. So I'm going to make sure that I set this up so that you guys can comment or even ask me questions while I'm live on the air, that kind of stuff. In case you didn't catch it, the name of this podcast is Dig This Here. Because if you are a friend of mine in real life, you know how I talk. And I'm going to talk to you all through this podcast as if you were my friends. So dig this here. Tune back in. I'll do another broadcast later this week. Happy Cinco de Mayo. May the 4th be with you. Blurs rule. Black girl magic. I am Superwoman. Peace.